Hey guys, Scott Patton here, and this is my what's happening on Chickamauga. We're going in towards the end of April. We've had some cold fronts and stuff out here, you guys. The weather's not been the greatest. We've had some nice days, had some really cold days, still getting those cold nights and stuff. The water's come up just a little bit. It's not done enough to really make those fish jump up, and I don't think we've had that big jump in water temperature either, but sometimes these fish just feel that it's not time to come up there. The majority of these fish come up, start spawning. There are some fish shallow, and that's what I've been targeting mostly on my guide trips, and I'm actually practicing for that Toyota series this week on my fish down here. Do not know how it's going to turn out. What I've got going on out here is there's just a lot of scattered fish, and you got to cover a lot of water. There's a few places where some small groups of fish have moved into, but it's just a matter of getting them to eat. And they've received a lot of pressure out here with all the guys out here practicing for a tournament. But anyways, back to this is what's happening on Chickamauga for me. If you guys are coming down from out of town, you've not been having much time on the lake, hopefully these tips will help you get a little bit closer to putting more fish in the boat in a short period of time. And I'm gonna start out with what's probably been working just equally as good. I've been finesse fishing, and I've been catching them flipping, and I'm still catching a few fish on the jackhammer. Seemed like that bite's gotten tougher for some reason. I don't know why. And the ones I was catching on the mag draft, it's kind of went away, but I've been using a smaller swim bait and getting some bites on it. So let's kind of go through with what I've been doing. I have been throwing a little 1/8 ounce jaw dropper jig head. It's got a little screw lock on it. Show it to you here. And I've been throwing different worms on this, you guys. It's like you see that little head right there. It's got the keeper on it. Works real good with that finesse worm. But I've been using a lot of green pumpkins and stuff. It's worked real good. This one right here is a jaw dropper. I've done pretty good with that as a green pumpkin, but as a lighter green pumpkin, this has been good in the more cleaner water with the chartreuse tail. Now I've been throwing it to straight green pumpkin, but like I say, I'm using the 1/8 ounce ball heads. What this is, got a good hook in it. It's got the keeper on it, and just want to center that up, twist that on there, you guys, which is kind of hard to get started sometimes in the middle. It just twist on there. All right, once I got that twisted on there like that, all right, I'm going to hold that hook about where I need it. It's usually about right there top of the egg sac. You see egg sac right there? That's usually where you're going to go in at. And I kind of go in an angle. I don't want that point to really come all the way through. This is a real soft bait, but I can feel that point just a little bit, so I'm going to back it back in there. But you want to make sure you rig this up real straight, okay? And I've been catching. You can catch fish on this if you come down here and fish this. I'm throwing it around any kind of wood. I'm throwing it on gravel banks back in the creeks, banks leading back into the creeks and stuff. I'm throwing it on a PAL 7-foot medium action spinning reel, because sometimes I'm making a long cast to get it way up there shallow. You can throw this thing up in a foot of water and get bit, guys. And I'm casting it down, catching fish down as deep as 6-7 foot deep too. Especially on some of the docks, on the posts and stuff like that. But I've got spooled up 15-pound Seaguar braid, and I believe this one here, I go to a 12 to 15-pound leader. I'm pretty sure it's a 12. That's what I've been using mostly as a Seaguar braid X leader on that. And just a loose spinning reel. This thing casts real good. This is a 300 series. I believe it is. Anyways, guys, but you want to use the braid if you can, because it's more sensitive, and that way when you're making a long cast too, that braid don't have any stretch, so you can get a good hook set. Okay, it's important not to set the hook when you're fishing these finesse worms and stuff. I had guys come down here and they'll tighten that drag down too much on the reels, and they set the hook, and then you're going to pop that line, especially with that braid on there. You're just going to pop it. You can't, it's not like you're flipping, okay? You're going to throw it out there. I always set my drag where that drag, it'll pull out where it feels tight enough where I'm going to set the hook on it. But also, it's going, even if say if I set the hook on a 7-pounder, it's going to give when I set the hook, but it's still going to penetrate that hook enough to get it into that fish's mouth, okay? Always make sure when you're fishing this, you're checking that line, you guys, right there. Like I said, that knot right there gets banged around on that gravel and everything. It doesn't, you may not feel it on your line, but your knot's going to get a damage to it, okay? So every so often, every hour or so, or 2 hours at the longest, I'll retie that thing, because you hook a big one, it's going to break off on you, because I'm telling you, your line may still feel smooth, but that knot's getting a lot of damage dragging across that gravel, all day long. So make sure you don't get you don't get lazy and not retie that, okay? That's been working real good for me. I've also been throwing a wacky rig. Couldn't find the rod there. Now this is a 5-inch dropper. 5-inch stick, some more of a just wacky rigging it. I got my 1-inch nail like I always do. You want to put your band on there. So I think that's a number 2 Gamakatsu hook on that. I don't want to go too small, but I won't go too big, okay? Because I still want to be able to fish around the grass, around something to cover. And if you're going to fish it right around the treetops and stuff like that, you're going to go with a hook that's got a weed guard on it, okay? And like I say, I'm fishing this around docks. I'm skipping around docks and stuff like that. There are fish on these docks down here right now, and you just have to cover them. You may fish 8 docks and get to one dock and catch 2 or 3 fish off from it. Or you may, go down a stretch of docks, all of a sudden the next 2 or 3 docks that have some fish on it. So you're just going to have to fish and eliminate those docks. It's just covering water, you guys. Another bait, again, like I say, I've been casting them flipping. This is a Strike King raised bug. That's a 4-inch size. I'm throwing on a 3/8 pro tungsten. Got it pegged because I want to keep that weight with my bait, so I know exactly where it's at. Sometimes you have a brush pile, or I'm flipping lay downs and stuff too, not just docks with this. Catching some good fish. Have not been catching any big fish, you guys. I just have not done it. I just don't think a lot of them have moved up right now, because trust me, I've been working hard, especially on this tournament. I thought for sure I'd be able to catch some big ones, and it can happen any day. On any cast, you can catch a 6-7 pounder this time of year down here, because I've done it. But I'm using, you want a good strong hook, and like I said, I tie that snail knot in that way that hook kicks up. When you set the hook, I don't want to peg my sinker down tight like that. I want just a little bit of play in that. I feel like it gives that bait a little bit more action. Plus, when I set the hook with that snail knot, that hook's going to kick up like that, guys. See how that kicks up? And it gets that fish hook right on top of the mouth, okay? No, I'm flipping myself on 25-pound Seagull Raise X, a PAL Endurance 7. This is a 7.7 mag medium heavy flipping stick. I love this rod. I love the action. I love the cork handles on it. If it's raining out there, I still got a good grip on them. They're light, and but I'm just using a loose high-speed reel. I think this is a 7.4 on here. Most of the time, I don't have one out here, but most of my flipping reels I got, this one just happens not to be, is the loose skipping and flipping, or skipping and pitching reel. I really like that reel. They're in the rod box. I do have several of those. I just got a bunch of these rigged up for guiding and stuff, you guys. I've had days, I'm just, like I said, I'm just being honest with you on all this stuff here, you guys. The jackhammer has been really good to me. It's caught more keepers on the average as far as fish per catch. The jackhammers put more keepers in the boat for me. When they bite it, it's been a good fish. I'm talking about anywhere from two and a quarter pounds to 4 pounds. We had one a little over 4 pounds the other day, but catching a lot of solid 3.25, 3.5 pound fish. But that bite's really died off some. I don't know if it's cool weather, I don't know what, but I know some fish are still there, because I'll still go in there every once in a while and pop 1 or 2. Seemed like on the cloudy days, this thing has done better. Only when, I may try it early in the morning too on some spots. I know there's got some fish in the grass is where I'm fishing this. I've thrown it on wood and stuff like that. Have not been bit on wood with it. I don't know why. I throw on spinnerbait and stuff like that. I myself have not caught fish on it. Try to vibrating baits and stuff like that, like the LV 500 and LV 150. I have not caught fish on those either. Trust me, I've tried to throw in a lot of different things on a lot of different places, because I just really know that this lake is getting ready to turn on real good. But like I say, for me, it's been fishing tough, and several of the guys that I know that I talked to have said the same thing. You know, I told you I was catching some fish last week on a mag draft. This week here, this little swim bait right here has done pretty good. I've caught a couple fish on it. You gotta let them eat it, because I'm telling you what, if you feel them hit it and you don't let it load up on it real good, you're gonna miss that fish. Okay, I'm throwing that on, I think, a 3/16 ounce weight on that, throwing on 20-pound test Seaguar Raise X on a 7-foot medium heavy action PAL rod. This endurance rod, and you know, like I say, I really love those endurance rods. So that is, I've been catching these, you know, this right here. On this swim bait, I've been getting them in the grass with that, more up the river, because I've been down lake, down south, and I haven't seen that much grass. It's just, I have not, and I've covered a lot of water down there, but the fish down south has been more on lay downs and docks and gravel banks and stuff for me on that, you know, with the finesse worm and flipping. Now, I'm gonna go back and say something real fast too about the flipping, and even on my shaky worms. Some days I'm using just a straight green pumpkin, and if it's a cloudy day, if I go back in some of these creeks that's got a little dingier water in it, I'll take my dye and I'll just dip some dye in that. You can use that, you guys. If you don't like, I know a lot of guys, and I get spooked with it too. You can use the dial markers, they're a little bit more safer. I was actually fishing with the guy the other day, and his kids are young, and he said he took the dye out because he's just afraid. And I told him, you know, he didn't know about the dial markers. I said, man, you can get you one of them dial markers. You don't have to worry about it getting spilled and running in your carpet and your boat and stuff. But I'll just kind of show you real fast the way this dial marker works. And the dye, you know, the dipping dye, you guys, just be careful with it if you use it, because it is dye. But this little dial marker, Zoom makes them, and this is Spike It makes this one right here. Like I say, this is worn out, but I'll just take, and it's just a marker. Hopefully it's going to show up on for you. It's pretty bright out here. A lot of times you can't see it until you put it in the water. And some of these baits got oil on them. You probably need to take a towel and wipe the oil off. That way it can penetrate into the plastic. But I'm not putting a lot of color in it. Just a little bit to make it stand out. Like I say, I don't know if you can see that or not, the difference in the dye. And but like I said, let me hold it in front of me. Maybe you can see the little difference in it. But in the water, it really stands out. And it's just enough as something to, you know, them fish like that dye. If you're not using the dye, I know most of you probably are, but some of these guys just got in bass fishing last year or two. That dye is really important. I carry it mostly in chartreuse. I carry it in orange and red and even blue. But just try using that dye even on your, you know, the tips of your Cincos and all that kind of stuff too, you guys, because you're gonna make a difference on getting bit or not getting bit. But you know, like I said, as far as what's going on here on Chickamauga, that is something that I've done. I'll just take this right here and dip this tail of this in the dye. The liquid dye like this does a better job overall. Like I say, but I'm going to take that, I'm going to just barely dip the tail of it and some chartreuse. You see that, guys? See the difference it makes? Like I said, it really stands out in the water a lot. But anyways, hope this helps you guys out, helps you land more fish down here. I know we're right here in a tough period. The water's coming up and it's warming up. You know, the big or major spawn is going to be happening here soon, and you know, the lake's going to really turn on. Them big fish going to start coming up. It's going to, you know, like I said, it's going to warm up, and we're going to start casting them. Like I said, it's just in a tough period. This happens almost every spring on about any lake that I've ever fished. Right before those fish make that big jump, it's like they just get tough to catch, tough to find. But when it turns around, I say another week to 10 days, guys, it's like I'll be fishing really great. Still catching fish, you know, we're going out catching 15, 20 a day, a lot more shorts and throwbacks. But you know, I do these to help you guys try to, you know, come down here, because I know a lot of times you may have 1 day, 2 days, and it goes fast, and it's a lot of water to cover, especially this time of year. A lot of guys, it's their first trip they've had out this year. So you know, I appreciate you guys watching these, and again, like I say, I hope they help you out. I'm practicing Red Toyota Series tournament that starts tomorrow. Hopefully I can catch them, and it's going to have to cover a lot of water. But you guys subscribe for me, leave a comment below, let me know how your fishing's doing, let me know some of your springtime baits that work good for you guys. And good fishing to you. If you see me on the water, give me a shout. We'll catch you out there, guys. Good luck.